Hey, today let's talk about dog collars. So I want you to think about setting it up because that's a little bit different. And I will show you how I did that in Design Shop at the end of this video. And then lining it up is very particular. You need to make sure that you do have it lined up properly. The laser on the machine is amazing. I love the laser. However, on something like this, because it's thicker, the laser will throw you off and your margin of where you're sewing is so tiny, you cannot get it off. So we're going to have to drop the needle and make sure that that needle is in the dead center of where we want it to be so that it will land in the right place in the dead center. So I'll show you how we did that. Now, you can see how I hooped it here. Anytime something doesn't fit in the hoop, like this doesn't fit in the hoop, you still have to put backing all the way around the hoop. So this is your 5.9 hoop. And so you can see that I have the collar hooped in here with some backing. Always, always, always have your backing all the way around, nice and taut. That gives you a nice place to work on. Then you want to find your center top to bottom. Well, I tried to use a piece of chalk, but the chalk just will not show up on the nylon. So what I did was I just used a sewing pin, and you'll see that I have that kind of marked right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the needle right next to it so that it doesn't fall on it. And that's going to tell me if I'm in the dead center, because that's going to mean everything when you're trying to line it up. So let's go ahead and put it on the machine. And then you're going to go to Tools, Maintenance, Head Timing, Bottom Center. So let's do it. Okay, so now that you have your needle drop, did that needle drop into the dead center when you're talking about the top or the bottom? Is it where it needs to be? Because if it's not, you would say, okay, and then move it to wherever you need it to be. Now, while you have the needle down, let's look at the presser foot, because the presser foot may need to be raised a little bit. You want the presser foot to sit on the collar because it has to do its job. It has to sit on the collar. So if you want to roll it up a little bit because maybe it's digging into the collar, you could just roll it up. My particular collar, I think I'm going to roll it up a little bit, so that it's not digging into the collar, but it is sitting on it. So that's definitely going to let it do its job. Okay, so now I have my presser foot in the right spot and I have my needle in the right spot. So I'm going to go ahead and raise the needle by saying, okay. Now that I have the needle up, I'm going to go ahead and remove my needle. And this is when you want to double check your phone numbers, your spellings. I am just putting a random number on this collar because someone asked me to do this video and this is not actually a product that I'm doing. So I just put a 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me trace it out. Even though the trace is not exactly, don't trust the trace because we're trusting us dropping the needle, but I still like to trace just for the purposes of, is everything tracing okay? Because on the bottom of this hoop, I do have hunks of collar hanging down. So anyway, I have a 7511 sharp needle for this particular collar, and I'm ready to go. Okay, it's all done. Looks great. There you have your number. I have a little bit of trimming to do, but I'll just pop this off the hoop and go ahead and rip my tearaway off of there. Now, if you're using black thread, consider using black bobbin. I wish I would have, but again, this is just a sample. So you can also use your clamping hoops. So your clamping hoops work great. Please make sure if you use your clamping hoops that you always keep this down when it is on the machine, but you can use this one or you could use the red clamp, but still make sure that you have backing all the way around. So let's put a name on this one. Phone number and then also for the name. What I did for the phone number is I did micro condensed sands at 0.35 and I double clicked on it. I went into my underlay properties. I made sure that it was on percentage and I did 80%. Basically it takes up 80% of the letter. So I did 80% with a 20 density. And I also did a pull compensation of 120, and the phone number came out great on this particular collar that I did. Now for the name, what I did was Dancing Script. I did it at 0.5, even though its suggested minimum was 0.55. I risked it. I took a risk and did it at 0.5, and it did come out really great. I also did the same thing with the pull percentage. I went to 120, and I also gave it the same kind of zigzag. If you come to underlay, you'll see right here a percentage of 80 with one zigzag, and that gave me great coverage, came out perfect. So good luck with your dog collars.